strange, isn't it, when you work for very famous people? And let's not forget that Harry and Meghan are indeed very famous people. You must have a timeline, a fine line, before things start to go wrong. We told you recently, didn't we, about a lady who's stepped down after 18 months of helming together the Archwell operation, seemingly, of course, because her time is done. But as we pointed out, they're very expensive people with not that much to do. You know, I mean, really, what projects are you working on? The podcast, which is now finished, and then, of course, this reality TV show, which is not a reality TV show, but truly is. Do you remember when Meghan and Harry denied that way back in 2020, saying they'd never do anything like that? Once again, you know, lies seem to come to truths, don't they? Interesting to note, though, that this is a new bombshell that's really hit, shall we say, big in Montecito. But as ever, who's truly to blame? Hi, good morning. Neil Sean here in the very heart of London. And as ever, thank you so much for joining me today. Nice to have your company. I'm glad you got so involved with the cost of living video. Thank you so much. It's true, isn't it? You know, if people were taught home economics, cooking back in schools, I don't think we'd have the problems we have with the younger generation, because, you know, even in my day, we got told the basics, you know. I can rustle up a nice shepherd's pie. Oh, yes. And a Yorkshire pudding, naturally. But it's important, it really is important to learn those basic skills. It would seem that basic skills are rather amiss, though, in the world of Harry and Meghan, because as we've now seen, that trailer for the docuseries came out and everything looked hunky-dory, for them at least. They were firing back at William and Catherine, who were out doing their Earthshot stuff over in the United States while visiting Boston. A real sort of mean thing to do, many people agreed. But it's interesting also to note that it was littered with all kinds of problems, which we told you about. First of all, we told you first and exclusive here on the show that the image of Catherine and William at the Commonwealth Service wasn't necessarily theirs to use. Perhaps they've got permission. Could be stood corrected, as ever. But then it's now emerged that there's another picture that has been lifted from a Harry Potter premiere in 2011, which apparently cites the fact that Harry and Meghan are hounded by the media wherever they go, particularly when you wind your window down or decide to get out and meet people in Manchester and Germany. Right, Meghan? Now, the bigger problem over in Montecito is this. As ever, they're trying to root out who exactly put that picture in without checking, because they believe, guess what, that they've made them her laughing stock. And according to a very good source, and as ever we have to say allegedly, heads will roll. This is because now it's been viewed quite a few times, as one can imagine. It wouldn't be difficult, though, would it, to check exactly where the source of pictures came from? So one has to wonder the calibre of staff that Harry and Meghan have indeed put forward. Now, it's a blame game, because the Netflix crew who were assisting in putting that trailer together are hitting back, saying that Harry and Meghan signed off everything personally. So one way or another, you could cite this as being, shall we say, to be kind, not very experienced producers. You know, they don't look exactly where things come from. But now the bigger picture, as I say, is really who's going to get the axe, because on all of this sort of thing, someone gets the blame. Someone has to be the fall guy for someone else's mistake. And in the case of Harry and Meghan, as I say, this is a very public humiliation, obviously one in a long line. But more importantly for those two, to be using a stock picture claiming that they're hounded by the world's media as they go about their daily business is farcical. We saw Meghan shopping recently in Montecito. Very clear and concise pictures, almost like she'd instructed a paparazzi photographer to follow her around, as ever, allegedly. So one way or another, there's contradictions all round. But right now in Montecito, it looks like the axe is definitely swinging. Who's next? Neil Sean in the very heart of London.